Hello students and welcome to the second part of chapter India's foreign policy. In the second part of this chapter we will learn more about India's foreign policy and its early phase. Student, in the first video we took the preliminary information about the foreign policy. Now we shall learn and get to know more about India's foreign policy. When India got freedom in 1947, from then onward we started shaping our foreign policy independently, and accordingly the directive principles of state policy have laid down. So this is the guideline which are given by the federal states about how to shape foreign policy. Article 51, among the directive principle of state policy, laid down the broad framework. Framework means a basic structure for foreign policy. According to it, India should give priority. Priority means importance to safeguard, to protect international peace and security. Second one, resolve our international problems and dispute by peaceful means. So if any disagreement is there or some disputes are there among the nation, then those international problems should be solved by the peaceful means. The objective of foreign policy should be, first one, to maintain friendly relation with other nations, and second one is respect international law. India's foreign policy till now has been developed in this framework. These two framework, that is to maintain friendly relation with the other nations and respect the international law. Let us learn more about the Article 51. Article 51. First point, promote international peace and security. Promote means support international peace and security. Maintain just and honorable relations between nations. Honorable means respectful relations should be kept amongst the nation. Third one, foster respect. Foster means encourage respect for international law and treaty obligations in the dealings of organized people with another. Now, for example, if on an international platform like UN, some treaty is signed, and if some internationally some decisions are being made on some issues, and it is decided that all the nation has to follow certain rules and regulations, then it becomes mandatory for all the nations to follow them and not to disobey it. So does it says that foster respect for international law. So international law should be respected, and whatever rules and regulations are set by them according some treaties or some international decisions, then they should be followed by all the nations. Last one, encourage settlement on international dispute by arbitration. If some disputes are among the nations, then those should be solved by arbitration. Arbitration means settlement which is made among the nations by an arbitrator. Now arbitrator, he is a person or independent person or an officially appointed person who settle the dispute among the nations. So if some problems take place among the nation, war is not a solution for it. If problem arises, they can be solved also, and so one of the way is by arbitration. Some more objectives of Indian foreign policy are as follows. While maintaining friendly relations with neighboring countries, ensure that the defense and security of India is not affected, not to compromise about the geographical boundaries of the nation. Second one, protect the unity and integrity of the country. Third one, protect the interests of India's citizen living in other countries. This responsibility is fulfilled by the Indian embassies there. So like in the first video we have learned about the embassies. Embassies are the official residence of the ambassadors. Ambassadors are the official representative who are sent to the other nations permanently. Those are said to be the ambassadors, and the residential or their official residence place is called as the embassy. So in every nation we have the embassies. So the people who stays in those nations, the protection of the interest of those Indian citizens are done by the embassies. So it is a responsibility is fulfilled by the Indian embassies over there. To establish economic and commercial relation with other countries by achieving economic development of India. So to establish economic and commercial means which are concerned or which are engaged with the commerce or some trade or some businesses, that is called as the commercial relations. with other countries for achieving economic development of country. India's foreign policy early phase. So when India got independence in 1947, this was the early phase. India's foreign policy early phase. Early phase is a period when India got the independence in 1947. Prime Minister Pandit Nehru shaped Indian foreign policy in the early period. He opposed colonialism. Colonialism, it is an act in which one nation tries to control the other nation for some economic gains. Like for example, England control over India, that was a colonialism. He opposed colonialism through India's foreign policy. He took an internationalist position and gave priority to global peace and security. Three things influenced foreign policy in this period. We made effort to understand all international events and developments independently without any pressure from any powers. Peace has always been an independent feature of India's foreign policy. So two things, that is one thing, that is peace. Peace is a central feature of Indian foreign policy. We gave more and more importance to the peace. And we decided that whatever international events are there or development we are doing, we have to do it independently without any pressurization from any other powers. The threat from China and Pakistan were also taken into account. One more feature of Indian foreign policy at that time was the insistence on self-reliance. Insistence on self-reliance means we have to rely, our nation should rely only on ourselves. Like effort should be made to see that we have to depend only on our abilities and on our efforts. So insistence were given more for the self-reliance. In the beginning, India decided to improve relations with the countries in Asia. Efforts were taken to cooperate with Asian countries in order to achieve development and to keep our independence intact. This concept of regional development later expanded to form Africa as well, but some Asian African countries participated in the military pact either by the America or Soviet Union. So in the first lesson we have learned about that two superpower nations were there, Soviet Union and America. So many of the South African nations, they decided they wanted to get participated with the military pacts, and which were led either by the America and by Soviet Union. This stopped the process of regional development. So whatever regional development program we had done about Asian countries and African countries, it was not a successful one. This stopped the process of regional development. So this regional development program was stopped because many of the Asian African countries, they tried to participate into the military pacts which was led either by America or by Soviet Union. After this, countries of Asian Africa which did not participate in military pacts supported the concept of non-alignment. So non-alignment, so many of the Asian and African countries which became independent after the Second World War, they did not go to any of the bloc, neither to Soviet Union or to America, and they supported a non-alignment. So this movement was started in 1961 under the leadership of Prime Minister of India Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, then the President of Yugoslavia Marshal Tito, the President of Egypt Gamal Abdel Nasser, the President of Indonesia Dr. Sukarno, and Prime Minister of Ghana Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So these were the people. So in this picture you can see the non-alignment, the President and the Prime Minister of the various Asian countries. Peace and freedom became the fundamental principle of the non-aligned policy. In this period, India had to face conflict with neighboring countries. What happened between India and Pakistan over the Kashmir question in 1947, 48 and 1965. In the third war that happened in 1971, Pakistan broke apart. West Pakistan and East Pakistan. So, Pakistan broke apart and independent Bangladesh was created. In the decade of 1970, there came about some stability in the India's foreign policy. India has risen as a powerful regional power in South Asia, By conducting nuclear tests in 1974, India had also proved her nuclear capability. So in 1974, the nuclear test was conducted in Pokhara. And during that time, in 1974, the Prime Minister of a nation was Indira Gandhi. From 1980, however, some changes began to take place. In order to increase cooperation among South Asian countries, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation (SAARC) was established. India initiated a dialogue to improve relations with China. India also started interaction with America for cooperation in the field of security. So these are the SAARC nations: Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan and India. And this is a logo of the SAARC. So the student, in this video we have learned about the early phase of India's foreign policy. In the next video, that is the third part of the video, we are going to learn about the first and the second stage of India's foreign policy. Thank you students.